Hello, my loves. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy that you're here today. Today, we're talking about a very important concept called rest compensation. I think that this is one of the biggest mindset shifts that my clients undergo when we talk about the importance of rest, how important it is for your productivity, why rest in itself is productive, and also why we have such a hard time resting and really resting in a fulfilling way, as opposed to just saying, okay, check, I've checked this off my to-do list. It's another thing that I've done. I'm rested. But then we come back to work and we're like, I'm not actually really feeling all that rested, right? So I'm really excited to share exactly what this concept of rest compensation means for you today. Before we dive into today's video, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you are up to date on all the videos that come out. We have 2 videos coming out every single week, 1 implementation video and 1 coaching video. And then make sure you also scroll down to the description and check out our 3 free gifts that you can jump on to really get yourself into this work, implement actual steps that I walk you through in these 3 different free gifts. And then most importantly, make sure you sign up for the Rest for Success course waitlist. I am so freaking excited to be launching this course and sharing this valuable information with you. This is something that I've been working on personally for a really long time. It's something that I've walked one-on-one clients through, really tapping into how do we make rest a core component of your strategy for creating greater results and more success. And it's literally the most mind-blowing thing ever. So if you are watching this video and you're like, okay, how is rest a core component of success? What the heck is rest compensation? I highly recommend you get on that wait list below. All right, let's dive into today's video. So what is this concept of rest compensation? The way that I want to really start this concept is by talking about the way in which rest isn't actually always restful for us. There are different types of rest that we need. We can talk about mental rest, emotional rest. We can talk about creative rest. We can talk about screen rest, and we can talk about spiritual rest. Like there's all these different types of rest that extend past this concept of physical rest, which is really what we talk about or what we think about when we're like, oh, I just need to get more sleep. Have you ever woken up in the morning and you're like, okay, I got a really good night's sleep, or I'm trying to prioritize better sleep because I'm feeling tired, I'm feeling low on energy, but somehow it just isn't enough, right? So that's where we kind of want to look at all these different ways in which we can be resting. The reason I say this, and I want to use this as an example, is because when we go into rest, and I see this with so many of my clients, and I want you to just think about this for yourself as well. Like, what do you consider to be rest activities for yourself right now? Is it throwing on Netflix at the end of the day, or going from your work computer to your phone screen and scrolling through, Instagram or TikTok or meme pages, whatever it is? Or is it actually like getting outside? Is it about being in nature? Like, what is the rest that you really need? What is your body asking you for? That's kind of the one side of it. And then the other side is, what is the rest that you're giving yourself? So when we talk about rest and what kind of rest you actually need, like I said before, we tend to think of rest as, okay, I'm gonna like watch a show, or I'm going to call, FaceTime a friend, or I'm going to give myself some Instagram screen time. For sure, all of that stuff can be really fun stuff to do as a form of rest. But it doesn't actually necessarily give you the restful regeneration that you need to come back to work. So this is where I want you to identify the difference, and I'm going to tell you how you can do that right now. If you are coming to rest with the intention of, oh, I just really need this right now, it's almost like a guilty pleasure feeling that you're getting, right? Like, I'm just going to throw on 1 more episode. That approach is you coming at it with the intention of, I just need to do this quickly to get some kind of quick gratification, this instant pleasure release, okay? That is going to create a scenario where you are compensating for rest. You're not actually giving yourself the rest that you need, because doing that feels like more effort in and of itself, right? It's easier to throw on Netflix than to go outside and get into nature, or go to a spin class, for example, or whatever it is that you feel like you really, really need, because it's easier to just plop on the couch, right? And that's just one example. And I want to just disclaimer here, watching Netflix or TV is not inherently bad, and it does not not count as rest either, but it's really about the intentionality behind how you're doing it, how often you're doing it, and if you're really feeling rested after that. So here's another example that I really love, because I see this happen a lot as well. And that is compensating for rest usually comes up at the end of the day. So like you're already tired, your body is responding from a place of decision fatigue. And so you're like, oh, we'll just watch one more show. And I want you to think of rest compensation as like squeezing out the little last bit of toothpaste. Okay. It's like, what can I just do really quickly to just kind of like get this last little bit out to kind of create this facade essentially, or this concept for myself that I have rested, even though I don't feel fully rested. Okay. So what I see happen a lot, and this is the really great example, is like going to grab for like chocolate at the end of the day, or like getting some M&Ms. That's my favorite go-to. So of course I'm going to use that as an example. Or again, like throwing on your favorite TV show when it's already late. Like the ideal thing that you would like to be doing, if you think about your ideal routine, is like getting ready for bed, reading, putting on a face mask, taking a bath, turning off your electronics an hour before, like all the things that we know we should do, but we're in this decision fatigue. And so we just want to like squeeze out the last bit of the toothpaste and get that little bit of gratification, right? So that's where we grab for the sweets, or we throw on a TV show, and we're kind of doing it to compensate for rest because we didn't feel like we got it throughout the day. So we're creating this notion of getting it, but then we're not actually getting the benefits of actually truly resting. Does that difference make sense? It's kind of an interesting concept, but once you start seeing it play out in your life, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I was compensating for rest. So that's the first part of this concept of rest compensation. The second part then is when we come back to work, then we tend to compensate for the fact that we rested. So you could actually have properly rested, like you actually did the thing that your body was asking you for. You got out into nature, you really connected deeply with, your partner or friends. You had no screen time for a while, and you feel really, regenerated and rejuvenated by life. Okay, you're coming back to work now. Either you actually did that, or you were compensating for rest in the moment, like we just talked about before. And then when you come back to work, you tend to overcompensate or compensate for the fact that you rested in the first place by feeling like you need to work harder now, or you need to pick up the pace, or you need to get more done because you took this time off. And that's another form, the kind of second piece of rest compensation, where you feel like you need to make up for something. You owe something to yourself or to your work or to your boss or whoever it is. And you push yourself harder, which again, kind of cancels out the effects of having that rest in the first place, whether or not you did it properly. So to summarize, number one, it comes down to the intention of what you're doing and how you're showing up to your rest time, and just being really conscious of, when am I compensating and creating this facade of rest for myself to get that gratification, but that's not really serving me? And when am I really truly showing up for it? And then what's the result of that afterwards? Like, do I feel guilty when I come back to work? And then do I feel like I need to push myself harder? So that is your little coaching video for this week. Let me know in the comments below how this resonated with you and if you feel like you compensate for rest. And make sure you click on that link to check out the Rest for Success course waitlist. Again, if this is resonating with you, you're going to be in the perfect place for joining that course. And again, the waitlist is zero pressure. Just get on there so that you can get all the information first and be the first to hear about all the discounts and bonuses and all that good stuff. So don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and I will see you next time.